You smell what The Rock is cooking.
Acknowledge me.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
We are bad to the bone. Get it? Bad to the bone.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll fight anybody. Who do you want? Just let me fight him.
Let me tell you something, Jim Ross.
Mega power, yeah.
We got it for you.
We are the best of the best.
Woo! Wheeling, dealing.
Smart marks.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Talk 'em in the Building, a pro wrestling podcast that puts the focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and of course we have to pontificate upon the promo. I'm Adrian. You already know it's no BS coming from me, and I'm joined as always by the team here. Over there in Atlanta, we got Greg representing the Bravos. What's happening, man? How you living?
For sure. You know, it's A-Town and representing the Bravos. And if you really pay attention,
Uh-huh.
it's the same hat that AJ be wearing, AJ Styles.
Good call. Good call. Good call. Now, Wes, we got the doctor out of lead, man. How's LA treating you?
I can't complain. Everything's beautiful out here with the good weather, you know, but just living day by day, brother.
All right, send some of that good weather over our way, man.
We'll try.
It's stinking, man. It's stinking.
I'll send you some Santa Ana winds.
All right, well, if this is your first time checking us out, like I said, this is a pro wrestling podcast where we put the focus on the promo. That's what we talk about. We'll bounce around on a few promotions, or we try to check everyone out. But for today's episode, is near and dear to my heart. It's Black History Month, and I gotta start off our month of podcast by talking about one of those legendary figures in pro wrestling, not just as a black man, but just overall. He's worked for multiple companies, won plenty of titles, gotten plenty of different gimmicks over, and I'm talking about the legendary Ron Simmons, Hall of Famer. So we're going to kick off February the right way by highlighting some of those moments of his career in this episode. But before we get into that, fellas, you know, I got to always bring a little juicy IWC talk and all of that, right? So my buddy Tony Khan just possibly got exposed for using a burner in the past week. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but there's a entertainment agent, Niccolo Piccolo, I want to say his name is, or whatnot. He represents CM Punk, Jade Cargill, a number of talent or whatnot. He's had a back and forth with AEW fans, Dave Meltzer, add Tony Khan to that for the past year or so. And it's been pretty entertaining for me as a bystander, just watching, all this back and forth. But he comes out with the claim that he found a Tony Khan burner account because the burner account reveals some information that not many people would know, and maybe only Tony Khan and himself know. He ets the NFL commissioner Roger Goodell or whatnot. Then all of a sudden, the account is shut down. It's not just that it shuts down, it goes private, starts knocking off tweets and all of this stuff. After all this evidence that Nick did provide, claiming that this is Tony Khan. And finally, the account got deactivated or whatnot. I say all of this because, of course, it's funny, it's messy. I always like to point and laugh at everyone on the internet. But that brings me to my question. And that is this. Gentlemen, is pro wrestling living online a little bit too much? And is it killing the business? That's my question.
Oh, man.
I want to know. I want to know your thoughts, Adelaide.
All right. I want to frame it this way because I'm not going to use pro wrestling. I'm going to use something else.
Okay.
Because I am like down the rabbit hole with the MCU right now with Doomsday.
Okay. Yeah.
because they basically leaked the storyline a year ahead of the show, basically. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if next month we already know what the movie's about, basically. And I critically asked that people take these rumors out of context sometimes and will build like a 30-minute reaction YouTube video to it, or an hour and a half.
100%.
And obviously everything's content. Look, we're doing a podcast. Come on.
That's yes.
For heaven's sake here.
Right.
However, I do frame it in such a way that I'm like, yeah, we do live perpetually online, but it makes me feel better that other fandoms do too. Because I know it's probably toxic. It's probably not a good thing long term. But again, it's for me, I don't see it fully as a bad thing. I know it has its limits and it can get toxic because of interactions, and powerful people are still perpetually online, and they're still like you and me and everybody who's listening to this.
Yes.
We're human beings, and chisme and gossip and all these mudslinging. It's still fun, guys. Sometimes pro wrestling can be like in the dreads. It can be like in the just the worst thing ever. But what keeps me going is the backstage. It's these rumors. It's like this guy doesn't like that guy, and I did hear about this guy. I didn't know he was the agent. Is he still an agent with Punk and Jade Cargill?
I think the company that he did work, and that's the thing that got revealed through the burner, was that Nick, I guess, left the company, or he got fired. That's what was put out there.
Okay.
And then Niccolo was like, yo, the only person that really know that would be this guy, obviously, because he literally said it happened. The burner said it literally happened 12 days ago. And that's what was the tell. It was like, yes, sure, you would know that I left the company, but you wouldn't know that exactly 12
it's
12
too,
days ago
it's
that
too
I
much
got
of a
fired.
detail.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, let's be real. Like, Tony Khan is like, he's known to have burners. Like, he's been online since he was like a teenager, right? Like, he was going back and forth with like PWI stuff on like I don't think it was Usenet forums back then, but it was like at least, you know, moderated wrestling forums. And I think doesn't he talk about like messaging with like
100%.
Terry Funk on AIM or something weird, wild 100%. Like that.
When
you know, and having like full on conversations
and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So like, this is, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to have like something to defend them. And you know, I don't know. It's weird still, because you know, I think once you're a owner of a company, I mean, like, I'm kind of like cool. I'm creating the content. Like, I don't give a damn what people say at this point. But I think that that 12-year-old Tony Khan can't help himself sometimes, which it ain't my money. So,
and the reason why I bring that up, ultimately, I thought that was a funny situation that happened over the weekend. But what ultimately brought that to me was Ricochet. Ricochet goes on Twitter and he goes on these. He goes on these rants. He goes on these back and forths, and I get it. You know, you can always use that card of I'm playing the heel, da 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 da, but it's also like overkill. So my question to you, Greg, being a lifelong fan, you've seen it. We've all three of us can, for the most part, say we've seen it all when it comes to pro wrestling. Is being chronically online as a performer killing the business?
I don't think so, because all right, so we've talked about in the past. People say kayfabe's been dead, and I've always argued it's not. It just evolves. And kayfabe today, we watch Unreal, and we all get critical of it, but I like seeing what happened in the past. I don't necessarily want to see a spoiler, but I want to see how you got there.
Right.
And the smart characters, and I use Ricochet as one.
Yeah.
He's creating a buzz for himself. And his rambling in the ring of his crappy promos now translates over to X. And he's engaging people, whether you like it or not. He is engaging people.
Yeah.
He just said that WWE ruined the careers of this person and that person and all that kind of stuff. And what has every site picked up? He's getting attention for it.
Yeah.
And I think where we actually, now, Becky did it a couple of years ago. Becky Lynch was great on X.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when she had when she was really kicking off with the man character.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you use it correctly, and correctly doesn't necessarily mean MJF heel.
Right.
It means tapping into that dancing of the line between fiction, fantasy, and real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but I got to create my own buzz. And I'll say Ricochet's done a good job of it because it does line up with his rambling ass character on TV.
Right.
And his annoying character on TV.
This is definitely the most buzz that I've seen for Ricochet in his career.
Yeah.
And it was so funny when I read that he said WWE dropped the ball. And, you know, I have a whole opinion that most of these companies have not dropped the ball. These people needed a fresh start somewhere else in front of a different audience.
Right.
And I think he's won.
Yeah.
I mean, we all blasted him when he got there. I was like, what in the world? And it's working.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not AEW doing it. It's Ricochet doing it. Let's call it what it is. He's gone down a path of I'm reinventing myself, and he has.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he's kind of out there with a character, and I just think that if the performers use it the correct way, and if they watch Unreal, because Unreal is real, yet is it? So it's hard. It's so,
Oh, they made
And that's
it.
the thing about reality television.
that's the freaking art of wrestling. Is how do I
Yeah.
now dance that line to make you think, wait, that was a work. Wait, is this real? Oh, wait, did Michael Hayes say that about Chelsea on purpose? Because now I'm going to create a storyline that says, watch Chelsea climb this ladder. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's little things that are happening that you're like, dude, we all getting worked. But it's not just there. We're getting worked across the board on everything.
Yeah.
Look at the rumors that come
Yeah.
up from the NFL. Look at the rumors that come up from MLB, and all these other places. Everybody is saying something here and there. It's buzzwords. We've always been a headline society, but now because we've had, once Twitter came available,
Now
it
it's
started
more
becoming bigger.
immediate.
Yeah, 100%. We can all create content. So I just think it's how you manipulate it. But to Adeli's point, all the fan bases are crazy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It
And
doesn't
that's
matter
a very
what
good
team.
point. That's a
It
very
doesn't matter
good
what
point.
team.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what TV show. You want to see a crash out? Go jump on a Stranger Things thread.
Dang.
Yeah, that's
Dang.
There's a
I don't
dude.
know, man.
Here's the thing.
yeah,
This is we know wrestling fans are crazy, and hey,
100%.
there's 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I saw one the other day, and maybe it's true, but I don't watch Stranger Things, so caveat. But there's a picture that on the final episode about the books behind them, one dude goes, "I think it's Morse code from the books of how they're laid out." So this dude started trying to figure out the Morse code to it. That's next level thinking. If it is, kudos to the people on Stranger Things.
100%.
If it's not, still look at the fan. That's the level of fandom we have.
Yeah.
It's the level of now what has happened. If you go out there and search it on TikTok, all these people trying to break these codes and all these different things. What did they do? They caused buzz. And that's the new kayfabe and the new creative.
Great
Yeah.
And going back to your original question you asked how to lead, is it ruining wrestling? No, but I think what has happened in wrestling is actually infiltrating everything else. With the Easter eggs, with the buzzes, with all kinds of little things that are happening behind the scenes, Unreal, all these different things. I promise you, you're going to start seeing more of that stuff get implemented into these other series and movies.
We already saw it with Marvel. Marvel's made like a 2-decade run off of Easter eggs and
payoffs and yeah. Going back to Greg's point, I knew something was fishy when they started making Gorilla look nice and set dressed and well lit. I was like, there's no cameras back here most of the time. What's up with that?
Right.
I did see a comment. I know, and this is social media though.
Yeah.
It was one comment about Unreal, and they said, I didn't know that's what that was for, because now there's so many cameras everywhere. We don't know what's what. We don't know if it's going to TikTok, if it's going to YouTube, there are cameras everywhere. Are they making a video for Cody? Are they doing a documentary on Roman?
Yeah,
Are
right,
they-
right, right.
Is it
Oh,
Steph?
man.
Is it Steph and her show?
Right.
Is it? We don't know. And they said that's the other part. We don't even know because they've created so many cameras and so many things going on. And I'm like, they're kayfabing the boys and girls. I'm like, dude, it's just all a work.
That's a
All
good
of us are
point.
being worked, and they're all sitting back counting money, our money.
Ain't that the
That's
truth?
nuts. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Mm.
Well, listeners, let us know down below. What do you think? Are wrestling fans and wrestlers, for that matter, and promoters, are we all are us being chronically online? Is it killing pro wrestling? Let us know in the comments. We want to get your opinion and engage and all that good stuff. All right, gentlemen. Like I said before, today's episode, we're focusing on Ron Simmons. But before we jump into that, I do want to know quickly, Greg, what's your first thought when I say Ron Simmons?
First thing that comes to my mind is me seeing him in WCW the first time. I don't think about. I think he was also. Well, that's you said first thought. So first thought is WCW.
First thought.
And just potential there.
Okay. Nice. Out of lead. First thought.
That aside, WCW. I mean, I'm gonna have to go Acolyte. I mean, I did obviously I was there for Nation and prior to that, but the Acolyte just gave him new life, and those even before the APA and all that. Just him with Bradshaw just coming and being heavies was like, hey, like there's Ron Simmons. That's awesome. Like he's gonna kick ass. Like, that's it.
Definitely. First thing that I think of when someone says something about Ron Simmons, legit badass. He looked the part 100%. I still think to this day in today's pro wrestling, we don't see enough of those believable, like this dude can rough some stuff up. And for those of us that are college football fans, All-American at Florida State, baller. But once he got into the ring, you look at him and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is a unit, man. Like he can hurt you. And that's that's the first thing that I think of. He imposing like a big ass dude, man, but very talented. And that talent not just goes from the in-ring. You're talking about multiple characters, multiple gimmicks. So the first promo is probably one of my favorite versions of him because he was a part of one of my favorite tag teams, and that was Doom. And my favorite part of Doom was their manager, Teddy Long, because he would talk his talk. So first promo, actually, Ron isn't even talking in this one. I was like, damn it, he's not talking, but I have to show it because I still love Doom, and I gotta show this one. So look at young Tony.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Championship Wrestling this week. As you know, we have new World Tag Team Champions. Doom, along with Theodore R. Long, won the tag team belts during Capital Combat over the Steiners. So the Steiners certainly pose a threat to get the titles back. Not only that, you have a threat from the Rock and Roll Express.
Let me say something right now, Giovanni. The whole world is looking at history in itself. The first black NWA World Tag Team Champions are standing right before you.
Bro.
Now, the Steiners are not a threat to us. The Rock and Roll Express are not a threat to us. Anybody that you put in the ring with us are not a threat. And the reason why they're not a threat is because we hold a goal. And when you hold a goal, it only says one thing, that you're the number one, you're the best, and there's nobody that can beat you, okay? So let me make it real simple to Rick and Scott Steiner. I want to make it real simple to the Rock and Roll Express. I want to make it real simple to anybody that think that they're going to take these belts from the first black world tag team champions. It ain't going to happen because we're going to go down the ranks of the great Nelson Mandela. We're going to follow in the footsteps of Don Cornelius. We're going to follow in the footsteps of the great James Brown, Arsenio Hall. I could go on and on. So let me tell you, brother, the goal is going to stay around the Soul Brothers for a long, long time. Now, listen, brother, I want you guys to tell them just what it's all about.
Well, the thing is, we're not closet champions. Anybody in the NWA, anybody in the world, step on up, boys, because we're ready for anything. Paid the cost to be the boss.
All right. So that was Doom, legendary tag team. One of my favorites. I mean, I don't know what it's about being a kid growing up in the 90s. All the wrestlers were jacked beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
Some some got some help there, and we all know that, but it is what it is. But I want to know, Greg, your first thing you said was WCW and potential.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on Doom as the tag team? Because I love both of those guys.
I love
all
Doom.
three.
And I remember when Doom first came out, they were with women and they had masks.
Yes.
So, and they did the Bella Twins switch long before the Bella Twins were even born. But they used to do that switch because if you think about it, both of them very similar build.
Very similar. Yeah.
And then everybody's like, wait, that's Ron Simmons and Butch Reed and all that. But I remember that my first impression of Doom, I know it was before this, but it was Starrcade 89, Night of the Iron Man.
Okay.
And if you don't know what that was, it was 4 teams, and they did a point system and who won at the end of the night. And it was Doom, the Samoan SWAT team, i.e. Rikishi, and the Road Warriors, and it may have been the Skyscrapers. I had to think about that one.
Okay.
But they did like a round robin tournament, and you got a certain amount of points for pinning, submission, count out, all that kind of stuff. Of course, Road Warriors won that. You can't have the Road Warriors not win that when their theme song was Iron Man. So they had to win. But Doom was established that night. No, it was the Steiners. It wasn't not Skyscrapers, the Steiners. But you talk about some teams that beat the living crap out of each other that night.
I can only imagine.
Bro, if you ever go back and watch it, you'll see me on the video, by the way. But
really?
In the Omni in Atlanta, yes.
Nice.
But that was just so cool because they did have the mask on at that time. But I just thought they were a dominant tag team. I was big into my favorite tag team, of course, is Rock and Roll Express. But I did like the big boy tag teams like Doom, Road Warriors, and to me, they were a threat to the Road Warriors.
Definitely. Now, out of lead, I know we're both. I mean, we're the same age, and we probably didn't catch too much of that era or whatnot. But we all love Teddy Long, so I want to give you the floor to talk about my guy Teddy Long talking his talk in that promo.
Man, you know me too well because y'all know that I love an all-timer segment involving him in a certain wedding that Greg doesn't like for very personal reasons over here. And I will. I'm planting a flag.
Yes,
that is my hill to die on right there. Shout out. But anyway, but again, put some respect on his name because people forget that long before he was refereeing, long before he was in all this other, in the ring, backstage nonsense, he was a hell of a promo. And what I love about this is I can take out all the names, transport them to 2026, replace the names, replace the references, and this could work right now.
It
I could cut the same promo,
could.
And it's beautiful. Just replace the 2 Jack guys with 2 other people, and it's the same thing, same effect.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because we're cracking up because we get the references, we get Arsenio, we get now some down, we get the Soul Chain reference, but so did everybody at the time.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful because again, look, as much like Ron had his presence when he was given the mic, he had same thing with Butch Reed, right? Incredible athletes, incredible, presences, but maybe the promo wasn't going to be their strong suit. And here you got your mouthpiece. What more could you ask for than Teddy Long, who knew the beats, knew the timing, and ultimately put these guys over the top. And I mean, they're coming out with the tag titles, they're flexing, they're doing the whole deal. Teddy don't have to do much, but just like lay it out ultimately, and he does it. And it's awesome because later on he gets to do all the comedic stuff.
Exactly. I almost, no disrespect to Butch, but he kind of takes away from the promo. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because, he didn't land it as well as Teddy. Teddy was serving it up, man. But I will also say, even though Ron Simmons didn't say anything, I don't know if you were checking out the pec flex.
Oh yeah,
he was bouncing a titty or two. So that's just as good as a promo for me. I thought it was a funny one. I wanted to bring that, but we also obviously Ron Simmons was the first WCW World Heavyweight Champion. That was a terrific distinction. So says the books that Dusty was just all in on him, and I love seeing that. Love watching those matches when he was the champ. But we're gonna go fast forward, obviously, to when most of us are a lot of our listeners, based on demographics that I look at on YouTube and whatnot, we're all Attitude Era babies, and Ron Simmons had a character that was somewhat controversial, I would say, but I just love the theme. I love the scene. I love seeing these guys in motion. And this promo in particular, I think is somewhat still relevant when it comes to critiques within pro wrestling. And that's Farooq and the Nation of Domination.
How does it feel to be the #1 contender for the World Wrestling Federation Championship?
Oh, it feels great. I shouldn't have to tell you how it feels. You've seen #1 contenders come out here before. Ahmed Johnson gave it everything he had last night, but no, that wasn't good enough. That was then, and this is now. And I'll tell you what time it is now. It's time for Farooq to become the World Wrestling Federation champion.
Crowd giving it
and
to him.
Speaking of that, let me ask you a long-awaited question. When was the last time that the World Wrestling Federation had a black man to wear that belt? Can you answer that for me? Answer that question. No.
Never.
No, you can't answer that. You know why? Because there never has been one. Oh, you've had token blacks in position of intercontinental champion like Ahmed Johnson for a short period of time. Oh, you've had U.S. champions like Bobo Brazil with the U.S. belt for a short period of time. No, I'll tell you what. And speaking of that, when was the recent chance that Ahmed Johnson had a shot to become the World Wrestling Federation champion? Tell me that. Can you answer that? No, you can't, because you people don't feel a black man is worthy of wearing the World Wrestling Federation title. You don't feel a black man is worthy of being champion of the WWF. But you do feel a black man is worthy of washing your car. You do feel a black man is worthy of washing your clothes. You do think a black man is worthy of even raising your kid. But let me tell you something. Those were those days, and this is a different day and age. You see, no longer are we marching up and down the street wearing our shoes. No longer are we calling radio stations complaining. We are taking matters into our own hand. When I get to swinging these fists and kicking these feet, you understand that, don't you? Huh? You understand that, right?
Everyone understands that. And this has nothing to do with being black. What's the matter with you?
Oh, it has everything to do with being black. You tell me, when was the last time a black man had a shot at being the World Wrestling Federation champion? There has never been one. But I tell you what, at King of the Ring, King Farooq will live again. Because you see, your white savior, the Undertaker, will be a man.
That was a bar.
Do you feel these comments are racist?
Listen, I didn't come out here to be a role model for anybody, but I'll guarantee you this. Some little black kid, a little black girl sitting at home right now, feel the pain and the anger that I feel. No longer are we sitting back being pacifist. We are going to take matters into our own hand, and that means by any means necessary.
Hit the music.
Well,
one of my favorite themes, by the way. I just love it. I just love it. I love it. But the reason why I brought this one is not just because that Farooq is one of my favorite characters and quick little runs. I honestly think WWF could have done a lot more with the Nation of Domination, especially considering the time. But I brought it because one thing that we've said in the past, and I think all of us are fans of Marvel films. We've talked about it before, obviously. But we talk about the fact that the villain sometimes is the hero in his own story, right? And it's all about perception.
Yeah.
Greg, I'm going to come to you first with this one. he toes the line in a lot of truth. He's walking around in a lot of truth and bringing out a lot of facts. But clearly, it's established that Farooq is the bad guy in this scenario. How do you feel he danced that line? He towed that line between telling the truth, telling his perception. Telling his perception of the situation, while also embracing being the bad guy.
So I think it's the delivery.
Okay.
So you can speak a truth, but deliver it angry, and it's gonna rub people wrong. So it's one of those things where, like Vince says, "Is this racist?" He's like, "No." So because if he had said yes, that totally makes him the bad guy.
Right.
But he is speaking some truth, right? He is talking about certain things, and he puts over Ahmed, which is funny because later on, not so much. Right. But I think it's the delivery. It's not about the content, and I think it goes back to that's the art of the promo. Is I can speak a truth all day long, my truth, and it may be the truth, but if I deliver it in a way that rubs you wrong, that makes you mad, you don't like, it's different than what you're used to, whatever that may be, then all of a sudden, I don't like you.
That's a good point. So I love the fact that he did say it's not racist, but you could tell that it's a lot of built frustration. And it's probably even, just going kayfabe, or not kayfabe, real life. It's a lot of frustrations being a performer within that industry, especially, coming up through the 70s and 80s. It's a lot of things that we've heard. And this was a perfect opportunity for him to use that and just use it as motivation for his character. And I love toward the end where he said, y'all are booing me and I don't care, but it's some black kid that's listening and they feel me. They feel me and they're cheering me on. So I don't care what y'all have to say. And that goes along with the ideology of Nation of Domination, where it was like, we don't care about y'all. We have a mission and we're about us, and we're going to take care of business, and we don't care by any means necessary. And it's that kind of militant attitude where me as a kid watching it, I was all in with that. I was all in. I love that. But Adelie, I want to know, because again, you're an attitude era baby like me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that segment in particular?
Yeah. First of all, I want to see a young Adrian ready to go to war with this.
Oh man, I was all in on that, man. I was all in, man.
Yeah.
Once they add The Rock, I was like, okay, we're cooking.
Oh yeah, no, it's on now, right? Which is funny because I think as much as like Rock obviously plays this complimentary role and it eventually becomes a vehicle for him, right?
Yep.
This isn't quite there yet, and it just feels like such a missed opportunity, for the time, and call it Vince, call it creative, call it just the time, and maybe they didn't want to go down that road, which is weird because they did way more risque or provocative stuff anyway down the line. But you had it was a layup, there's a meme of the the white kid raising his hand later to Nation of Domination. So I'm like, this would have been a great expansion of that, of like just the masses just being flipped and say, no, he's right. He's speaking truth. But on its merits, I always want to fast forward a year and see, Ron just lay out Vince for just being an idiot and saying like, are you racist? This is about racism. I was like, yeah, damn right it is. Like, what's wrong with you? Kind of like follow questions are those. And I think that's the limitation of the program. As much as he said everything that needed to be said, he makes these not illusions. He makes a direct reference to a different audience that is also watching this program, that is not being represented in the same way on TV through a championship, right? They're putting a championship on someone that looks like you.
Right.
I mean, I can say that as a person of color here too. Like, luchadores were seen as this sideshow, right? WCW put him a spotlight, and Vince kind of had to come around eventually and What does he do with Mysterio? Same, right? Anyway, I don't want to sidetrack, but I can hear a lot of the same frustrations from. But obviously, these are much heavier and decades long and entrenched in what pro wrestling is. So it was cool. It was cool to see him.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen like them elevated, to a different stratosphere, even as a group, because you had some heavies in that group, and Ron was just that. By that point, I mean, he's not even an elder statement. He's just a legend in the making, right? At the time, he could have quit then, and there he has a resume for decades to come. But no, now you got this. Now you're bringing in Mark Henry, who was lost and about, and was this project, and D'Lo was doing his own thing. So it's just it's a cool setup. But for me, it's again, it just leaves a lot to be desired about the what ifs, because ultimately, like I said, it just becomes a vehicle for Rock, which is fine. But
yeah,
it could have been a lot more.
It's so strange, because I'm not even gonna say it's strange, but it's so cool to see how different Farooq was from Ron Simmons, the WCW Ron, much less when Ron first got to WWF, and was he like the gladiator? Like it's so far removed from there, So it was like, I'm gonna continue to say it was such a huge missed opportunity, because that could have been. I wouldn't even say, okay, during that time, the Nation of Domination, they were gonna go on a babyface run or anything like that. They were gonna be heels and beat the hell out of people, and they could have just continued to do that for months on end, years on end, because, like you said, it was powerhouses in that. Like when you're talking about Godfather being in there, when you're talking about Mark Henry, these are heavy hitters, and. Yeah. Once you start beating up on like Ahmad Johnson, because it's like he's not good, he's not one of us, that's when it gets real interesting, awesome. So I always thought it was a missed opportunity. Although I did like when they added Owen, because Owen Mark.
That was great. That was great.
He was an honorary for a couple months there.
He was their Sammy.
And that's it exactly.
Owen walked so Sammy could run.
Exactly.
So one thing about that promo that I know we always talk about the stickman, but you gotta watch Vince during that promo.
Okay.
Because there's one point where Ron says something, he just drops the mic.
Yes.
And he's frustrated.
Right.
Or he shows frustration, he drops it like and I'm like, that is why Vince was in that position, because he knew what he needed to relay. And then he would ask a little follow-up question, but he had these expressions, and he had this,
like he's frustrated.
Yeah.
Like he wants to go there, but
Yeah. And I think that there's an unsung piece to that. But then let's go down an alternate timeline for a second. Let's take that same exact promo and change his cadence.
Okay.
And same exact words. And he says, has there ever been a black champion? I was the first WCW champion, and I saw what we did. And he goes down this whole path. That same promo turns that dude total face without the anger tone. But everything else he says, you had Bobo Brazil, Ahmed did this. It's my time. I did it before. I do it now. Now, of course, at that time they didn't acknowledge WCW, but
that's true.
It's like I was just like watching it, because now we watch it through different lenses, right? And we're analyzing it, because that's what we do on here. And I was like, man, how cool would it be to go down an alternate timeline and see him cut that as a face? Still as Farooq, still with an edge, but as a face.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Then I'm going to throw one other wrinkle at you.
Yeah,
because I agree. I've always been a Ron Simmons fan. I thought that WWE, he was there, but I never felt like he got over that hump. Like, I felt like he was a superstar. And I will say all day long, the worst thing that happened to the nation was The Rock.
That's true. That's true.
Yep.
That's true. That's true.
Because the moment he got in there and his star shined the way it did,
focus went on. Yeah.
All went to him and took all of that all the heat off the nation as a whole.
Yeah.
Right.
To be quite honest, and took everything off of Ron.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And they even made a storyline like, yeah, like let's get this guy out of here.
Kick rocks.
Yeah, yeah. But we're continuing to the Attitude Era and a little further. But one thing that I loved about Ron Simmons, like I said earlier, he took a hold of a number of different gimmicks and got them over. It wasn't just him. He had some great help with him a number of times. Whether we pointed out Teddy Long and Butch Reed as a part of Doom, the Nation of Domination, number of heavy hitters there. But probably where most of us know Ron Simmons at this point is APA, right? Whether it was Acolytes, whether it was APA, it was one of the better gimmicks and long-standing gimmicks from the Attitude Era. It was long-standing, and I loved the APA because they had so many different eras. And that's the unique thing about that group is they had the obvious heels. They obviously had the Acolytes where they were Undertaker's henchmen, essentially, right? But then we get into the APA where maybe they're anti-heroes, and we even get into the weird and what really ultimately got things over, them being baby faces and the comedic baby faces. So in this segment, that's the era of APA that we're going. We're going with the baby faces with a good amount of humor. But again, both of these guys are monsters, and they'll beat the hell out of them.
I know how much I'm putting in. You hear something? I didn't hear a thing.
You know, you could have knocked on our door. You walked right through our wall.
Like the door right there, man. It's the door.
That wall, that's our door. It's our office.
How about a knock? Face your arms.
Yeah, like that. You weren't raised in a barn.
Get the door.
Watch the Rock.
I'll beat the whole door, man. Come on, man.
Great job at SummerSlam. The Rock is back.
Proud of you, brother. WCW title is finally where it needs to be.
Question's exactly where it's going to stay.
Have a seat, man. Hey, how about a beer, bro?
You play cards?
Yeah, Rock.
You got plenty of money.
Great money.
Your credit's good with us. Don't worry about it.
Unlimited, brother.
Listen, the fact remains this is going to be The Rock and APA taking on Booker T,
Hey,
Rhino.
Once again, man, I got to tell you, we're proud of you, brother. Congratulations.
Electrifying. The Rock is
No
back.
question. The Rock is back. The People's Champ is back. Now, The Rock realized that you guys are used to beating people up for money, but tonight, live on The Rock Show, live on SmackDown, it's going to be The Rock and APA laying the SmackDown on their candy asses all over Denver, Colorado.
Let's do this.
Get it right. Are you in?
No question. The Rock is in.
Unlimited credit.
Unlimited credit. Just
Through the roof.
Through the roof.
Yep.
4 races. What the? If you smell what The Rock is cooking, The Rock appreciates that. Let The Rock take this board right here. That's it. You keep the money. The Rock will see you guys later on the night. Laying the SmackDown.
Damn.
How do you do that?
Notice at the end we got the damn, which
ultimately
ultimately got super over. But Adelaide, I want to know your opinions on APA, Acolytes, JBL. We got to definitely talk about JBL because he's a legend.
Yeah, I mean that's a Warren Blackett, man. That's nostalgia personified, right? You got Rock, which is a weird version of The Rock to me. I know it's like within that era, but it was always a weird version because it was so jarring to see him with that belt. I was like, oh, it still doesn't feel right, honestly. But that it's such a cool time capsule also for we're in the comedic era of APA, right? We're past like they're still guaranteed badasses and they'll kick your ass in the ring, but ultimately they're in their element. As much as their characters, this is truly Ron Simmons and John Bradshaw kicking it, you know, having a cigar, probably doing things they're doing anyway. And they're like, let's make this the gimmick basically. Right. And let the boys come in and have some interactions and let's make something out of it. So for me, it was cool. And I don't know, there's as much as, we talked about the last promo with Vince and, it's with the audience and everything. These guys look at least Braun looks so much more relaxed here. Yes. And I don't know because he's just smoking, he's sitting, but the way he's even interacting with Rock is so just organic almost, right? So
natural. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a conversation. It's almost like Rock feels like more out of place than anything because he's just over the top and, he's playing Rock. What can you ask? That's what he's supposed to do. But yeah, it was cool. And then Bradshaw, even the disbelief and the playing into like, wait, how did you? What the hell happened there? And knowing he'll have a second career resurgence there, right? And he'll have a whole piece there. But if you hear interviews, he and Ron are boys. They're boys for life, and that whole clique. But it's really cool to see that backstage relationship was something that ultimately had fruition and played out. Well after you said it yourself, that damn shirt it's still selling to this day.
Man. Still over to this day. But one of the things that I always loved about the APA, once they started those segments during Raw, where they would go to a bar or something and clear out the bar and stuff like that. It was funny, but it was also showing that these dudes were ass kickers, So, Greg, I want to know your opinions on JBL and overall Acolytes, APA, all that stuff.
I think they both finally found themselves. I think going back to your first question to me earlier was about my first impression of Ron Simmons was potential.
Right.
I never felt like he hit his potential. Like I never felt like he hit the ceiling that he could have hit. But I never felt like he was himself until APA.
Yeah.
Like that promo with Farooq as a, that was good.
Right.
But I never felt like that was him. You know what I mean? Like it was him being a wrestler. To me, once he got to this stage where he was actually Ron, and he was Ron and John, basically, that was him.
Right.
Like you could just tell, and the genuine friendship and all of that. And to me, that's what appeals, right? Is you sit there and you go, these dudes are having fun,
right?
And they're funny, but they're badasses, like you just said. The bar fights, the backstage stuff. I mean, the whole fact that they said, "Well, you just walked through our wall."
Right.
That right there, to me, popped me bigger than anything. And it was week in and week out. And if you ever hear them tell the story, they just made that up on the fly. It wasn't planned. It's just like, you just walked through our wall. That kind of stuff, just them making it up. And even the whole gimmick, I don't know if you ever heard them talk about that. They were basically drunk. Big time.
Understandable. Yeah.
And got caught in the hotel by Vince.
Okay.
And Vince saw it and all this type of stuff, and like they were ripped. And it's fun to hear JBL tell it, because he got called to the office the next day, and Ron's like, and JBL comes back and he's like, Ron's like, we're fired, aren't we?
Okay.
He's like, no, you're not gonna believe this. He's like, what? He said, they want us to drink on TV. He said, they want us to do what? He said Vince was so entertained the night before. He said, that's what I need to see on TV.
That's wild, man.
But that's the type of thing that is like, it's just crazy. But them being them,
right?
Them being them got them to be the APA,
right?
And it's just like, to me, that to me was just so much fun.
That's probably the most popular version of Ron Simmons. Wouldn't y'all say?
Yeah, has to be, yeah.
Because he's still, I mean, if you catch him at WrestleCon or anything like that, he's got a damn shirt on. He's selling damn, and that's his deal, man. That's his deal.
And what's so cool, you kind of talked about them being real friends, right? Those two. Because as JBL filled in for Bruce on his podcast, I listened to several of them, and he goes, oh yeah, I go to all these conventions, and he goes, but I don't go if Ron ain't going. And he said, if Ron's going, he said, that's a weekend for me to hang out with my buddy, and somebody else is paying for it. He's like, so yeah, I'm going. He said, my first question every time I get booked is Ron going? Do you have Ron? All right, we going.
That's awesome.
That's just so cool. I mean, that's just
cool. We gotta have an episode for JBL, because I mean, it's so many different characters and gimmicks and a whole bunch of stuff with him. But I mean, that's Ron Simmons, man, Hall of Famer. I thought this is a perfect way to kick off Black History Month, because he's definitely one of those stalwarts that don't really get as much attention, and mainly because his most popular gimmicks, he was in a tag team. You know, and I love the fact that his career was filled with so many different gimmicks, so many different character changes, so many different errors upon gimmicks, and he made it work. And that's why he's a Hall of Famer. That's why he's a legend. That's why we want to do this episode. So shout out to Ron Simmons. He's one of the greatest of all time. Listeners down below, let us know your favorite Ron Simmons character. Let us know if it's don't tell me it's the Gladiator. Wasn't Sonny like his valet at one point? Wow, jeez.
But I'll challenge our listeners and viewers to go back to that WCW Vault YouTube channel and go back to like 88, 89. Go watch Ron Simmons from then. Go watch him team with Ice Train. Go watch him team with Butch Reed.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Go see his feud with Vader. And at the end of the day, this is 90.
Yeah.
There's no Flair. Bill Watts is running the territory. And Vader makes this dude look so good. As good as he is, right? But Vader is Vader.
Yeah. No,
Vader can do whatever he wanted to do. Yeah. And he made him look good, and Ron made him both ways, right? But you also had Bill Watts. I know there's a lot of stuff around him, but at the end of the day, he had a vision. There was, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to go down this path. And I remember at the time it was different because Ron wasn't positioned at that level. If I was going to relate it to something not quite this level at that time, but he kind of came out of nowhere to be that number one contender, to be that person.
Okay.
Not gender out of nowhere, but not far from it. Like, he was an upper mid Carter. He was not a main eventer. Like, he wasn't Sting. He wasn't Luger. So it was kind of cool to see that in the elevation of him when he got that title. But I just say, hey, go back there and watch some of those singles matches. Because like we said, we've seen the Brawler. We've seen the, with him and Butch, or especially him and JBL. Go back and watch some of that early WCW stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
That WCW Vault, and that's crazy, man. That's a godsend. It's a godsend. But while you're watching that, just open up another tab and type in intothebuilding.com.
Hey.
Which will bring you to Talk 'em in the Building. We got a whole back catalog of wonderful conversations. We have a number of themed episodes that are fun. Thanksgiving, we talked about Halloween, all kinds of Christmas, all of that stuff. And of course, we have our Dusty Reviews, where we look at segments and promos, and we ultimately decide, did it talk you into the building? Because that's what a promo is supposed to do. And we rate it from 1 to 5 Dusties. So for Out Elite Out West, for Greg here in the great state of Georgia, I'm Adrian. You already know it's no BS. We are Talking in the Building. We'll see you next week.